Shootout.
What's up, guys, and welcome to another Shootout commentary. And you guessed it, today we're talking about the Ben Bishop trade, guys. So Ben Bishop is going to the LA Kings, and I'm extremely surprised by this trade. So Ben Bishop, a 4th round pick, going to LA for Cernak, which was drafted in the 2nd round, guys, and is a mid-level prospect, I guess. Peter Budaj, who's been having a phenomenal year, but it's clearly not a starting goalkeeper. A 7th round pick and a conditional pick that can be as high as a 2nd rounder, guys. But from what I've read, the conditions for it to be a 2nd rounder are pretty extreme. I haven't found the exact conditions, but that's what Sportsnet reported, guys. So here's what I'm kind of getting here. Hey, I think the Lightning have been absolutely fleeced here. They're giving up a starting goalkeeper. He's not elite, but he's definitely a starter for not much, really. Cernak, a 7th rounder, and let's go with that conditional pick, who's probably not going to be a 2nd rounder, so I'm guessing like a 3rd and a 4th, or a 4th, sorry. That just doesn't feel like a lot for Bishop. I understand that there's not much of a market for goaltenders right now, but I can't wait to see what Pittsburgh will get from Marc-Andre Fleury if they move him, or else they're going to have to make a trade to stop Vegas from drafting Matt Murray, or let Vegas grab Matt Murray. So we'll have to see about that, guys. But I've usually been surprised about what Steve Yzerman can get for players. He got a shitload of amount of stuff for Marty St. Louis, which I wasn't expecting, even after St. Louis said, I only want to be traded to one team, and that was the New York Rangers. I mean, and he wanted to be traded. He wanted to be traded to only one team. There was absolutely no pressure on the New York Rangers, and they still gave up Ryan Callahan, a 1st and a 2nd, I believe, or 2 firsts. I'm not exactly sure on that, but I was impressed by that. And, don't get me wrong, Ryan Callahan was a really good player back then, guys. He was a lot better than he is right now. So I was extremely surprised on how, Yzerman was able to get that much, guys. And, that really impressed me. Unfortunately, he hasn't impressed me here. He hasn't gotten much for Ben Bishop. LA has said that they just want to have every night a starting goalkeeper in net, a true number 1 on every night. So Quick and Bishop, they want a 1-2 punch. Kind of surprised here, guys, because I was expecting, maybe LA to scheme something here. It looked a little off for them to acquire Bishop right when they get their goaltender and Jonathan Quick back. But from what they've said, no, this is just to have a 1-2 punch in net and to make sure they're always strong in front of there. So, no, I guess they might have been like, this is just way too low of a price for us to not go on Ben Bishop. What Steve Yzerman said here making this trade, he said that he knew he had 2 goalkeepers with the expansion draft coming. He had to move one of them, and it was Ben Bishop for salary cap reasons. They're really trying to keep every member of this core on this team, from Stamkos to Hedman to Killorn. They want to keep all these players. That's what he said. I don't know if Killorn's that big of a player, but yeah, so from Steve Yzerman's perspective, this was purely a cap move, and I'm going to believe him. As for today, he traded Brian Boyle to Toronto. So for that aspect, I'm actually going to believe this guy that he wanted to trade, Ben Bishop for cap reasons, and he got a 2nd rounder for Brian Boyle. That's what continues to impress me about Yzerman, how much he can get for players. It looks like the Bishop trade was really just an off trade for him, or maybe there was absolutely no market for goaltenders. That kind of surprises me because, a few teams have been having some serious goaltending issues. You want to think about a team like the New York Islanders. I think they could use Ben Bishop. Maybe even a team like St. Louis until recently, where Jake Allen has started getting going. Or, maybe even a team like Calgary. I know Calgary aren't exactly in a playoff position, but would they be tempted for such low of a price to go for Ben Bishop? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe they can try to re-sign him in the summer, and they'd have their solution in front of that. The Dallas Stars, heck, they have been an absolute catastrophe in front of the net. maybe they should have given up a little more for Ben Bishop. Obviously, they would have had to send a goalie back the other way, and I understand why that would have a completely not interest in Tampa Bay. Fun fact, Tampa Bay also retains 20% of Bishop's salary. So if you ask me right now, the LA Kings are kind of making a push for it. I think they're going to definitely acquire somebody else on March the 1st. Maybe a forward, maybe a defenseman, because I think they still need to add a bit to this team. Not a major acquisition, maybe a guy like Vanek, Paranto, whatever, or Jerome McGinley. Some guy like that I could see added to LA. Not a huge acquisition like Duchesne, Landeskog, or something like that. And as for Tampa Bay, I feel like they're just cooling down. They're preparing for next year. They've accepted the fact that they're not going to make the playoffs this year, or it's highly unlikely. So they're definitely not going to go for a rental, or I'd be extremely surprised to see them acquire a rental. So I think they're definitely preparing for the future. If they make a trade, it's probably going to be for a guy like Duchesne or Landeskog or Vander Kane that has some term left under contract. But I still don't see why they would do a move like that, because they're absolutely loaded up front and they don't need any help there, guys. So make sure to tell me in the comments below, guys, who do you think won this trade, LA or Tampa Bay? I feel like both teams don't come out with much here. LA gets a high-priced backup, and Tampa Bay kind of gets a pile of crap unless that second pick does actually become a second rounder, or unless Eric Cernak becomes a very good NHLer. But make sure to tell me what team you thought won the trade in the comments. I'm just not feeling that any team won the trade. I think it's pretty equal here. But that's it, guys. Make sure to tune in on the trade deadline for my shootout commentary, which I'll be trying to review the biggest trades that happened.